strictly for the purposes of financial gain for those who have access to her estate, including Clive Davis.
Including Clive Davis.
Are you surprised by the evidence that's already coming out in the criminal trial?
No, I'm not surprised. I experienced some of those things. Witnessed violence.
Picture this. The music industry is trembling under the weight of a scandal so massive it could rewrite the legacy of one of its most iconic figures. Sean Diddy Combs, a man who built an empire on swagger, power, and untouchable charm, is now cornered. His sprawling mansions in Los Angeles and Miami, worth millions, have been raided by federal agents in a jaw-dropping operation that felt ripped straight from a Hollywood thriller. Homeland Security agents stormed his properties, helicopters circling above, as dogs sniffed through luxury cars and evidence was whisked away in plain sight. The allegations? Explosive. Human trafficking, coercion, and a secret life so dark it's left the industry reeling in shock. But what if the man we've long seen as the kingpin of bad boy records wasn't truly the mastermind? What if Diddy himself was merely a pawn in a much larger, more sinister game?
Centerpiece of a lot of what happened during direct testimony were freak-offs. And what the prosecution tried to show was that he forced and or coerced her into doing these freak-offs. And we've talked about this earlier this week, that at least my opinion is that in a lot of these, the prosecution just didn't close the loop. It was something she felt.
As the lawsuits pile up and Diddy's world begins to crumble, a chilling new theory emerges, one that could shake the foundations of the music industry. Enter Clive Davis, the legendary music producer whose name is synonymous with power and influence. For decades, he's been celebrated as the man behind the curtain, creating stars and shaping careers. But now, whispers of his alleged double life are beginning to surface. Could it be that Clive Davis, the revered architect of modern pop culture, is the hidden puppet master pulling the strings behind Diddy's spectacular fall from grace?
He needed her back.
Oh, yeah.
He needed her back, but he needed her back and under his control.
Diddy's current predicament is nothing short of catastrophic. The raids on his properties were described as unprecedented in scale, with agents combing through every inch of his luxurious estates. His Miami mansion, complete with an underwater tunnel and a lagoon-style pool, became the center stage of this unfolding drama. Boxes of evidence were carried out, while reports of secret rooms and hidden safes fueled wild speculation. This wasn't just about one man's alleged crimes, it was about dismantling an empire brick by brick.
Dishonest, violent, horrible. A promiscuous swinger who lied to and cheated on multiple partners. Incredibly, that's how Sean Diddy Combs' own lawyers describe the billionaire music mogul, currently facing serious trafficking charges in a New York court.
And yet, amidst the chaos, an unsettling question lingers. Who is orchestrating this takedown? Derek Parker, a former detective with the infamous hip-hop cops, dropped a bombshell in an exclusive interview. "This is big," he said. "It's clear someone wants to destroy Diddy. Someone with the resources and connections to make it happen." Former allies have turned into informants, and lawsuits filed by ex-employees and insiders are surfacing at an alarming rate. The narrative being painted is one of a man who amassed power through coercion and intimidation, only to watch it unravel spectacularly. But what if Diddy isn't the true villain? What if he's just another piece in a much larger puzzle? This is where Clive Davis enters the frame, and his role in this saga is as mysterious as it is sinister. For years, Davis and Diddy were considered an unstoppable duo in the music world. Davis, a man with an ear for talent and an eye for opportunity, saw something in a young Sean Combs that others overlooked. He took the ambitious 23-year-old under his wing, guiding him through the early days of Bad Boy Records and helping him launch the careers of artists like Notorious B.I.G. and Mary J. Blige. To the world, their partnership was purely professional, a mentor and his protege. But behind closed doors, insiders suggest there was more to their relationship than meets the eye.
And her and Clive had a fight 2 days before. And from what I was told, Bobby Christina was present for some of that fight.
Suge Knight, the infamous Death Row Records co-founder, once made a jaw-dropping claim on his prison podcast. According to Knight, Clive Davis and Diddy were more than just business partners. They were lovers, he alleged, a statement that sent shockwaves through the industry. While Davis and Diddy have never addressed these rumors directly, the implications are staggering. If true, it could explain the unusual level of influence Davis seemed to hold over Diddy's career. Was their relationship purely consensual, or was there an element of control? And if Clive Davis truly had leverage over Diddy, how far did it go? Jaguar Wright, a former collaborator turned whistleblower, has added fuel to the fire with her own explosive accusations. She claims that Clive Davis didn't just mentor Diddy, he groomed him. According to Wright, Diddy was allegedly used as a pawn to recruit young artists, luring them into compromising situations for Davis's benefit. She alleges that Davis kept a secret vault of incriminating material on artists, a collection of blackmail-worthy footage that ensured their loyalty. Was Diddy ever truly in control, or was he just a puppet dancing to Clive's tune? Wright asked in a now viral video. The implication is clear. Davis didn't just create stars, he controlled them. As investigators dig deeper, connections between Clive Davis and the criminal activities surrounding Diddy's current allegations are beginning to surface. Sources close to the investigation suggest that Davis may have played a role in keeping Diddy's past scandals under wraps, shielding him from legal scrutiny while quietly collecting leverage. But now, with Diddy facing a storm of lawsuits and federal charges, Davis's motivations are being called into question. Could it be that he's deliberately throwing Diddy to the wolves to protect his own secrets? And what exactly is he hiding?
With no training in music,
None.
did you think you'd be good at this?
I never thought I would have a musical ear. I never thought I'd have a natural gift.
The timing of Clive Davis's sudden disappearance from the public eye is raising even more eyebrows. As the allegations against Diddy reach a fever pitch, Davis has quietly fled the scene, retreating to an undisclosed location. Some speculate he's avoiding legal scrutiny, while others believe he's orchestrating the entire spectacle from the shadows. Insiders claim that Davis has long had connections in high places, including law enforcement and the media, enabling him to manipulate narratives and control outcomes. But with investigators reportedly closing in, his days of operating in the dark may be numbered.
Let's talk about the filth that's starting to come out in the early days of the Diddy trial. This, of course, is P. Diddy. Surprise, surprise, he's a creep. Surprise, surprise, he's done horrible things.
And so we're left with a haunting question. Is Clive Davis the true architect of this scandal? Has he spent decades building a criminal empire under the guise of being the music industry's premier power broker? As the layers of this conspiracy begin to peel away, one thing is certain. This is just the beginning. The revelations to come could not only destroy Diddy, but also expose the dark underbelly of an industry built on power, secrecy, and manipulation. Stay tuned, because the truth is more shocking than anyone could have imagined. But what if we told you this story goes even deeper? As we pull back the curtain, the connections here are darker and more tangled than anyone could have imagined. At the center of this storm lies a connection to two of the most tragic figures in music history, Whitney Houston and her daughter, Bobby Christina. Their untimely passing left the world heartbroken, but now new allegations suggest that their demises may not have been as random as they seemed. Could Clive Davis, the man who championed Whitney's career, have had a hand in their downfall? And if so, why? So let's rewind to the night of February 11th, 2012. Whitney Houston was supposed to grace Clive Davis's annual pre-Grammy party, an event she had attended countless times over the years. Instead, she was found unresponsive in her hotel bathtub just hours before the festivities. The eerie details don't stop there. Just 3 years later, her daughter, Bobby Christina, was discovered in a strikingly similar condition, underwater in her own home. Both women, celebrated for their talent and beauty, met devastating ends in ways that mirrored each other so perfectly that it left many asking, was this just a tragic coincidence or something more sinister?
Referred to me as Wild King Nights. And what a Wild King Night was when him and a guest would go to a hotel room or be at his home, his bedroom, and they would have intimate gatherings. I would have to go and prep that hotel room, which consisted of baby oil Astroglide.
Enter Jaguar Wright, the outspoken artist who has made it her mission to expose the alleged dark underbelly of the music industry. In a shocking video, she claimed that Clive Davis didn't just oversee Whitney's career, he manipulated and controlled her every move. According to Wright, Davis introduced Whitney to dangerous habits at the height of her fame, habits that contributed to the singer's struggles later in life. Even more chilling, Wright alleges that Davis had a financial motive in keeping Whitney under his thumb, going as far as to suggest that her demise and that of her daughter served his interests. They were sacrificed, Wright claimed, sparking outrage and disbelief among fans. Could this be true? And if it is, how far does this conspiracy go?
It was like, wow, for Diddy? Diddy? What? You know, that was a person that I looked up to. He was a mogul, and I listened to all the artists that he made superstars. And so to have a chance to be able to be signed to him, it was amazing. It was like, oh my God, I'm here. I finally did it.
But Whitney and Bobby Christina's names aren't the only ones tied to Clive Davis in this sordid tale. As we turn our attention back to Diddy, the connections between him and Davis grow even murkier. Could it be that the very man who helped Diddy rise to the top is now orchestrating his downfall? Insiders have pointed to a theory that Diddy's recent legal troubles are no accident. Some believe that Diddy may have attempted to break free from Davis' influence, only to face the full force of his wrath. And the price, in Diddy's case, appears to be catastrophic. His long-standing reputation as a mogul who could do no wrong has been shattered. Even the most loyal of his inner circle are turning against him, feeding investigators with shocking details of what really went on behind closed doors. Former employees, associates, and even one-time confidants have painted a picture of a man who may have been trapped in a web of control far beyond his comprehension. But the true question remains, was Diddy the mastermind of his empire's alleged misdeeds, or merely the fall guy? The wave of lawsuits against Diddy is unlike anything the music industry has ever seen. Since November 2023, when his former partner filed that explosive case alleging years of control, mistreatment, and coercion, the floodgates have opened. Women and men alike have come forward, each sharing stories that point to a troubling pattern of behavior. Among them is a former videographer who claimed he was subjected to repeated harassment while working for Diddy, and another lawsuit from a woman alleging an encounter dating back to the early 1990s. The sheer volume of allegations suggests that these are not isolated incidents, but part of a broader, more disturbing narrative.
They've been afraid of coming forward. They've been afraid of what he could potentially do to them within the industry, what he could do to them professionally, maybe even personally. And so yes, it's been a dark secret they've held on to for a very, very long time.
Investigators have also pointed to potential connections between Diddy's alleged actions and his broader business empire. Many of the accusations detail how his wealth and influence were used to silence victims. Non-disclosure agreements, financial settlements, and intimidating legal threats appear to have been common tools in his arsenal. It's alleged that payouts were made frequently with the purpose of burying accusations before they could reach the public eye. This strategy worked for decades, but with the current spotlight on him, those past tactics now look like a house of cards ready to collapse. Perhaps the most shocking revelation comes from the sheer diversity of those bringing claims forward. These accusers hailed from different corners of Diddy's life, former artists, employees, business associates, and even individuals on the outskirts of his social circle. Many of the claims follow a hauntingly similar pattern: promises of career advancement or mentorship followed by alleged exploitation. It paints a picture of someone who may have blurred the lines between business and personal boundaries in ways that left a trail of broken lives in his wake. The allegations have also reignited discussions around Diddy's infamous Puffy Flavor Camp, a retreat he hosted in the 1990s at his Scarsdale mansion. This was initially presented as a training ground for young talent, but insiders have described it as a place where boundaries were routinely crossed. Videos from past interviews have resurfaced, where former attendees hinted at witnessing unsettling behavior. These revelations have cast a new, darker light on what was once seen as an eccentric but harmless extension of his brand. Adding to the mounting pressure are the testimonies of former employees who claim they were complicit in creating a facade of power and invincibility around Diddy. Some have alleged that they were instructed to facilitate questionable activities, ensuring that his public image remained untarnished. These allegations raise questions about how many people may have been complicit in enabling his behavior over the years. Could this have been a systematic operation with multiple layers of silence and complicity, ensuring that the truth never saw the light of day?
And what's really going to be interesting is the parade of celebrities who we expect to be mentioned and or called into that courtroom. You know, people who we hadn't heard about prior, like Mike Myers, you know, Austin Powers, Mike Myers. Why is he getting called? Why is he on the witness list? That'll be fascinating. And then, of course, there are the no-name, quote unquote, women who are going to have to find every ounce of courage they have.
One of the most damning accusations involves claims that he employed a network of informants and enforcers to maintain control over his empire. These individuals allegedly handled everything from hush money payoffs to intimidating potential whistleblowers. Even now, some accusers have reported receiving threats, a chilling reminder of the lengths to which Diddy's network may have gone to keep his secrets hidden. This has brought new scrutiny to his business dealings and raised questions about how many others in the industry might have been complicit in protecting him. The legal repercussions are piling up, but the social fallout may be even greater. Former collaborators and acquaintances are now distancing themselves from Diddy, hoping to avoid being dragged into his growing list of scandals. Artists he once helped launch into stardom are now notably silent, and industry insiders whisper that his name has become toxic. The man who once had the power to make or break careers now finds himself ostracized, his empire crumbling under the weight of accusations that refuse to be ignored.
That I have a very special connection with artists, with music. I certainly know I had it with him.
As these lawsuits make their way through the courts, one thing becomes increasingly clear. The implications of this scandal stretch far beyond Diddy himself. They reveal a culture of silence and complicity that has long plagued the music industry. For years, the allure of fame and fortune shielded powerful men from accountability, but the tide is turning. Diddy's downfall may be just the beginning of a broader reckoning within the entertainment world, one that could finally bring long-hidden truths into the light. It doesn't stop there. Whispers of a secret vault held by Clive Davis have begun to circulate, an alleged treasure trove of compromising material collected over decades. It's rumored that this vault contains recordings, videos, and documents that could destroy the careers of some of the biggest names in the industry. Jaguar Wright has claimed that this was Davis's ultimate weapon, a tool he used to ensure loyalty and silence. Could this vault be the key to understanding how Diddy's world unraveled so quickly? And if it exists, will it ever see the light of day?
He cornered me. And then he asked me, with his arm up, he asked me, "How you doing?" I'm kind of like, wow, this is what the heck? Very uncomfortable. And then he rubbed his hand down my breast. He said, "If you need anything at all, you let me know."
As if this story couldn't get any more dramatic, Clive Davis's sudden retreat from public life has only added fuel to the fire. Just as investigators began turning their attention to his possible involvement in Diddy's downfall, Davis vanished. No public appearances, no statements, no signs of the once omnipresent music mogul. Speculation is rampant. Did he flee to avoid legal scrutiny? Was he tipped off by someone on the inside? Or is he simply lying low, orchestrating his next move from the shadows? The timing is too convenient to ignore, but here's the twist that nobody saw coming. This might not just be about Diddy or even Clive Davis. Some insiders believe this scandal could expose a much larger network of corruption within the music industry. Names are being whispered in back rooms, powerful figures who may have worked alongside Davis to protect their own secrets. Could it be that Clive Davis isn't the only puppet master in this story? And if so, how deep does this go? As we stand on the brink of what could be the music industry's biggest reckoning, the stakes couldn't be higher. Will Diddy strike a deal with investigators to save himself, potentially exposing Clive Davis and others in the process? Or will this all end in silence, with the truth buried beneath layers of wealth and power? One thing is certain, the fallout from this scandal will be felt for years to come. We want to hear from you. What do you think of these explosive allegations? Could Clive Davis really be the mastermind behind Diddy's downfall? And so much more. And if these claims are true, what does it mean for the future of the music industry? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more updates on this unfolding scandal. This is far from over. Stay tuned.